Good morning, people. As always, or as usual, I am talking about my favorite stock, SNDL Growers Inc. SNDL. You know the deal. If you watch my videos, I always drill this in. Please, 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 don't take anything in this video as financial advice. Go seek the advice of a professional. I also happen to be a lawyer, so I have to say, don't take anything I'm saying here as legal advice. Go seek a competent attorney who's admitted in the jurisdiction, or is familiar with the issues that you're dealing with. But pay for consultations. It's worth it, especially with attorneys. I'm not too sure about the financial side, but definitely, I think it's worth paying people. It's worth having some kind of fiduciary that you could rely on, someone that's you can trust. That's hard to find, but they're out there, so happy hunting. But that said, again, we're talking about sundial here. Not giving financial advice, just blowing some steam here. And so obviously we're in this point right here where we're kind of on this little uptrend here. But is this uptrend going to last? Is it something that we're going to crash down when the market opens tomorrow morning? Who knows what's going to happen? But we'll talk about some recent news. So people are all talking about deadline being tomorrow, February 7th, 2022, for sundial to get over $1 in order to stay on the NASDAQ and not get delisted. So I guess technically tomorrow is a big day, but I guess a lot of us believe that, or talking heads, there seems to be a consensus that sundial could get an extension or something like that to help it out, so it doesn't get delisted. Everyone seems to believe that sundial getting delisted is impossible, but honestly, who knows? If the NASDAQ saying, well, you kept diluting your stock, we don't believe that you actually intended to stay above $1. That's why I don't know. I don't think that's gonna happen, but who knows? That's the worst case scenario, right? What did Investor Place say? So Investor Place was saying, bet on sundial grower stock doubling from current levels. So we're actually getting positive news from these rags. And I don't mean that in an offensive way. I just mean people writing about it. From all the financial writers, we're starting to see a change where it's usually negative, and then now there's some positive news coming out. What else do we see? Talking about the joint venture that they got, where they're buying up debt in the United States, which I think is huge. And they're definitely going to be poised to jump in as soon as legalization happens in the States. And I'm telling you, 2022 is the year 420. Just do the math. Makes sense. I can definitely see marijuana legalization on a federal level in the States this year, so I'm very hopeful. But yep, the motley fool raises the question, right? Are we going to skyrocket, or are we going to crash? What's going to happen here? Who the hell knows, right? So what I am looking at is, me, I like to look at the data, the historical. So I'm like, I'd say I'm an emotional trader. Not that I trade on my emotions, but I try to measure the atmosphere of the investing public, basically, or whoever has access to this, and I kind of make trades based on what I think is going to rally based on those sentiments of people's mass sentiment. So I'm banking or betting on my understanding of what people are going to do, which is really, really risky. So not advisable, but talk to your own financial professional about that. But I'm looking at the data, right? So here we have 2021. So I'm only going a year back, trying to see, what have the rallies been like in this past year. So we had a huge rally in the beginning, right there from January 27th to about February 11th, where there was a massive sell-off. But that was a huge, like I said, huge rally. It jumped up to about $4, and it was just it was at 50 cents. So is that what's going to happen here this month, or we're starting it off a little later? I don't know. Who knows? Arguably, it could be this is the same thing that's going to happen. I don't know. But that rally started on a Wednesday, and I think that kind of matches up too with January 28th, right? The January 28th, what was that? Oh no, that was a Friday. I don't know. Well, it matches up almost close enough on the days, so started a day earlier. So here we go. And then we jump in March of 2021. This one, obviously, everyone knows it's just indisputable that the stock has been tanking ever since it made that rise to about $4 in 2021, and it's been on a constant downtrend the whole time. But these are these minor little jumps that have been blipping in 2021, and I didn't do all of them. Like, there might have been some 10-cent jumps, but I didn't do that until maybe closer to the end of the year. Well, actually December, I kept that one in there. But so we had a jump, 58 cents, an increase by 58 cents. Then in May, end of May, June, there was an increase of about 65 cents. So it jumped up to $1.37, that was pretty significant, I would say. Then in November, we had a nice 30-cent jump, where it went from 64 cents to 94 cents. Then in December, we had a little blip, a little 13-cent jump. And now we are seeing another one of these little jumps, and so far we're at 10 cents. But the question is, how many days is this one going to last? Is it over already? Is this delisting news, or what's going to happen about the delisting going to change things, or is SNDL going to deploy huge amounts of its buyback program to try to stimulate the market? Who knows what's going to happen? But that is the big question here, right? So I started looking at some of the news historically, even though Google kind of limits you. I think I was only able to go back to as far as June, if I'm right. Yeah, this is June. So we had that rise in June, well, May into June, and so now I was able to pull some of the tail end articles, I guess, from those last days. Unfortunately, it doesn't allow you to go back further on Google search. There's probably another way to do it, but I didn't feel like digging through all that. So there was some positive articles even at that tail end when there was a massive sell-off. asking, is this gonna rise more? What's gonna happen? I think we're not quite this. So this is June 2nd. And it started in May, like 24th, I believe it was. Right, May 24th. Yep. So they were already at the tail end of it, but that was 10 days. Here, if we count from January 28th, we might be towards the tail end of it here, coming up with, what is that, 3/7? Yep. It's about 10 days. So this Monday could be the end of this jump, or are we going to see one that lasts longer, like the 13 or 14 days one, where we get a little bit more of an increase from 10 cents or not. And then is it going to crash again, or are these announcements going to, is it going to reach a confluence where there's some kind of news? Because if you look at the 2021, that was just based on rumors that marijuana would get legalized in the states because Democrats went into power. There was no even like announcement that was going to happen, but people, I mean, maybe there was other factors in there, but I think that was the run-up for that first thing. And now, we're hearing, at least I saw on Twitter, Chuck Schumer is talking about how he's trying to get marijuana legalized and help the people that were affected by the policy in the past. I don't know. I don't know if the social justice side of it is gonna really go. I want it. I hope it does. But I'm just saying, like, get these people out of jail that are in there for marijuana. Like, what? Get them out of jail. And maybe give people tax incentives, or if someone did serve jail, give them some kind of incentive or way to get into the industry, sure, but I mean, it doesn't have to be all that difficult. I don't think. I think some of the actions already taken about trying to set aside funds for states to develop their expungement programs or whatnot. Those are important, but I think just getting the people out of jail, getting the ball rolling on this is the way to go, instead of trying to do a whole comprehensive package. But that's my opinion. And I think with the Republicans' control, even though they're not in the majority, and there's to get it done, I think it's going to have to be very moderate, or there's going to be middle ground that has to be explored. So we'll see what happens. I'm hopeful. They're saying that they're going to be pushing for it in the spring. So that if that catches on, that might be lead to a continued increase instead of another dip. And I don't know. A lot of people are thinking for that 43 cents was a floor. So maybe that is. Who knows? And we're going to come back up. We will definitely see very soon. But going back here, where is this? So we did the June one, right? What is this? What's that? It's the June, so get rid of that one. The next one I wanted to look at was in November, when it popped up. They were talking about, so November 8th was about when it started to really start to jump, I believe it was, right? November 8th to the 15th, yep. So this was a 30-cent rise. And this is right the week before that run-up. And so maybe it took a while for people to digest this. I think the acquisition was announced back in October, which was a month before this, but we're still getting this news, and it's this positive news coming out, basically about sundial right before the run-up. It's only a matter of time. So maybe they were onto something, because they definitely predicted that a couple weeks before it happened. A lot of people were asking the question. See, and this is when it really started the rally, November 8th. This is going into it already, that rise towards the tail end of it. So they had their Q3 results come out. Go. So what does all that mean? That is the question. So now, if we go back to nowadays, this is these articles. It seems like, you know, that we could be in the middle of this thing and not necessarily at the tail end. So that's my prediction. I think we can make a nice little run up to maybe about 70 cents, a little bit below that, 66 cents. But that's if we could get through this floor. So this is, if you look at this is where it's dipped down to last time. And then it seems like we're hitting that as a ceiling, maybe, or maybe not. Who knows? But maybe even the chart, looking back at it, you know, obviously not the 50 cents to 394, but there was a jump that kind of broke that previous floor that they were at, the $1.14. And then it didn't. Well, I guess it did. It broke the floor of 71 cents from before and went up to 94 cents. And then at the 55 one, even then it jumped and broke the floor of 64 cents from before. So, you know, this, maybe that'll be telling right now is, are we at that floor or not, which is here. So is it going to break past a little bit? Maybe it will break past a little bit, but it may not go too much higher. We may be talking about, well, no, it should pass at least this floor too, I think. So I'm thinking, yeah, 64 cents to 67 cents. I think that's my prediction. If it doesn't skyrocket and go up to 80 cents, I think that's my max. But I think realistically, if it's gonna go up and then dip down again, we're probably looking at that 67 cents range as that max for this week coming up until it hits their crash. So who knows? If it has 3 or 4 more days left and it's going to close on Thursday, or if it's going to close on Tuesday, who knows? But we can see that most of the sell-offs are Thursday, Tuesday, Thursday. This one was a Monday. The last two were Mondays, so you know, could be a Monday again. Who knows? Monday is a popular start day too for last year, so I don't know. November 15th. Put it in there. Oh, that was a Monday too. That one went from a Monday to a Monday. So yeah, who knows? I'm betting, like I said, 67 cents before it kind of stumbles down again. And if we do get some more positive news in that meantime, between now and Valentine's Day, you know, who knows? It could be a nice sharp rise. It wouldn't surprise me if it jumped 30 to 50 cents, especially given that the deadline's looming, and there'll probably be some kind of announcement or something tomorrow that's going to that may, you know, affect the stock significantly. So huge day for Sundial tomorrow. Let's see what happens. As always, you know this is not financial advice or legal advice, so go seek advice from a professional, whatever that means for you, whatever you're looking for. Let's keep our fingers crossed for Sundial, and let's hope it happens. Right now, at that 53-cent mark, this is where people might start. Well, I don't know. I think a lot of people are in at 80 cents. That's my take. Even if they dollar cost averaged a little bit, but I think institutions and things like that, they've probably jumped in and dollar cost averaged down to about 60 cents or so, maybe even lower than that. So that might be something to consider, because once it gets to a point where they can take profits, maybe they will. That might not be good for the stock. That might lead to another massive sell-off. But who knows? Again, it's all guesswork here. But I'm betting on Sundial. Even if this doesn't work out short term, I'm still going to be holding long term, because eventually marijuana is going to get legalized. I'm telling you. Like I said, let's look what the news is saying. People are talking down about it. Outlook dim. Nothing has changed. There's frustration. Schumer gives update. Amazon endorses GOP-led bill. There's some good news out there. I'm telling you. There you go. The Gallup poll released in November 2021. 2 in 3 Americans support legalizing cannabis. People are talking about it. Keep talking about it. It's going to happen. And then when it happens, these stocks are going to make a killing. We're going to have another huge rise. But watch out for dilution. So if it does have a huge rise, take profits. Don't be greedy. All right, people. I got to go start my day off. Well, as I always say, trust no one.